city across the United States, you're likely to be met with the same thing. City resources stretched beyond repair, a wave of criminality, businesses closed up. Who wants to do business when everyone breaks into your store on a regular basis? All thanks, of course, to the flood of illegal immigrants in these so-called sanctuary cities. And nowhere is that more apparent than when you visit New York City. Walk into any random hotel throughout the city, and you might be met by a security guard who will tell you, sorry, you have to leave. And you'll say, why? This is a hotel. And they'll say, not anymore. That's because now it's home to hundreds of illegal immigrants living in these particular hotels. That's exactly what J.J. Carroll just uncovered in his latest investigation in New York City. Of course, J.J. spent 24 years as a Customs and Border Protection supervisor. He's building a brand new documentary called Treason, and it's taken him all over the country into the darkest recesses of the United States right now, from the U.S. border to New York City to liberal cities in between. And his latest investigation brought him to the liberal East Coast. God help us all. JJ joins us now to talk about his latest jaunt to New York City, a place that I used to call home. I used to go to work in Midtown Manhattan, JJ, right there, Fox News, right there next to Times Square, right there next to 30 Rockefeller Center, and do my job. But not anymore. This is an absolute disaster zone, I guess.
It is a disaster zone. And let me just tell you a quick story. This is tells you how big New York City is. Gigantic, right? You live there. It's overwhelming, the size. But the illegal alien invasion and what's happening there equals the size of New York City. And let me give you an example. I fly in, Ryan Matta, my business partner and film crew of our documentary, This is Treason. We get off our flight. We're going to go to our Airbnb because we want to unload all of our cameras and stuff, because we're going to be kind of all over the city in kind of really bad areas. So we want to unload it. So we pump it in the GPS, the address, and off we go. We end up in like this parking lot off a street in New York City, and I'm looking at up there. It's like a 10-story hotel, and I'm like, okay, well maybe it's like a condo or apartment complex that they rent out. I don't know. It's New York City. Just roll with it. So as we're walking to the door, I'm looking around, and there's people meandering around. There's a stack of bikes pushed up with strollers and clothes, and I'm like, what in God's name is this? And as I approach the entrance to the hotel or the apartment complex, a security guard like comes out of nowhere, and it's like right in my face, and he goes, can't come in here. And Ryan and I were kind of like startled, and we're like, well, no, we're trying to show him we have reservations for Airbnb. And he's like, no. And Ryan starts to not have an argument with him, but just trying to explain to him. And when he's doing that, I'm looking around, and then it clicks. And I look at right at the security guard, and I go, this is a migrant shelter, isn't it? And he goes, yes.
Wow.
And I go, oh my God. And we looked at the address, and Ryan goes, I put the wrong digit in. So our Airbnb was just like a block away. That shows you the enormity, Clayton, of this situation, that they're everywhere. And it's nondescript. You have no idea. There's no signage. There's nothing. But there's hundreds of those. People don't know that 50% of all hotels in New York City are contracted for illegal aliens.
50%?
The rest of the 50%. Yes, and growing.
Oh my God.
And then there was an article came out 2 weeks ago where they showed that it's supply and demand, right? So everyone's coming to New York City. Everybody visits, go to business. But the hotel, the other 50%, because of supply and demand, their nightly rates are skyrocketing. So you're talking about billions of dollars of taxpayer money that are housing hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens in New York City. They stay there for free. So they get free housing, free meals a day, free laundry service, their cell phones. And we're walking around some of these I hate saying migrant shelters, illegal alien shelters. And I'm looking at men walk around with ankle bracelets on, like the monitors. And I'm like, God, they're everywhere. And then we went down one that I have to tell you about. I showed you, and you sent you the video.
Before you get that, what are the ankle bracelets for? These have been individuals who've been arrested, and they're out on some sort of probation, and they're being tracked. Or
wow, this is a great question. I'm glad you asked me, because I apologize for just going over it because I'm so used to this insanity. So this is called Alternative to Detention, ATD. So under the INA, the Immigration Nationality Act, it is against the law to release illegal aliens into America. It's against the law. So then you ask, well, how are they releasing all these people? Well, Mayorkas came out with this Alternative to Detention, and he said, well, they're still detained because I either put an ankle monitor on them, or I give them a brand new iPhone and I track them. So they are still detained. It's like me. Clayton, I know you think I'm making this up. It's crazy. I wrote it in my book because it's so insane. So I rob a bank and the judge says, JJ, you're going to go to jail for 8 years in San Quentin. Oh, dear God, 8 years. Don't worry. I'm going to put an ankle monitor on you and you're still detained. You just go wherever you want in America, but you just have to check in every now and then. Holy cow. Yeah, I'll do that. So when you see these people wearing these big bracelets, ankle monitors, understand that they're under this program and they have done studies, FOIA requests, where the people that are, this is a third party, monitors them. They're like, yeah, we have no idea where they are because they cut them off and they throw them away. Or they take the SIM cards out of their and they get new SIM cards and no one knows where anybody, it's all a lie. Basically what I'm telling you, it's all a lie. But they're all over New York City but they're all over America. There's millions of people. I mean, if you want to get into something that's crazy, I mean, it's Orwellian. We actually went to, they call these places re-ticketing centers. Have you heard this?
No.
So re-ticketing means, so you had DeSantis and Abbott flying illegal aliens or busing them into New York. The liberal left goes crazy and says that's racist and that's terrible. Well, actually, New York City now is flying people out of New York City and paying for it. And it's called a re-ticketing center. So if I'm illegal alien, I come into the center and I say,